Hello, this is Malcolm Johnson from NRail, a blog located on Blogspot. That's n-rail.blogspot.com. And I had a chance to interview Rios Tam, Hong Kong resident and model railroader. It was a fun interview. We've been trying to set up for a while. If you want to play along at home, his YouTube channel is on YouTube. You just look up Rios Tam, Riostam. And you can also look him up on Instagram, which is also Rios Tam. And it was a fantastic interview, and I really learned a lot from him, and I hope to talk to him again in the future. So without further ado, here is the interview. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Malcolm Johnson, blog owner of NRail Rail blog, and I'm here this morning with Rios Tam. Rios was nice enough to join me for a little conversation, so we're just going to talk trains for a while. Rios, thank you very much for joining.
You're welcome.
So first question, when did your love of trains start, and how long have you been working on them?
Maybe you won't believe this. I just started this hobby, I think, years ago.
1 year? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work in 1 year.
But of course, I love the train when I'm young.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't afford this hobby because it costs a lot of money.
Right.
Until I go to work. Until I go to work and I find this hobby is not that expensive as I think. Then I try to do some research and then I start.
And do you mind if I ask how old you are right now?
27.
27, okay. And so when we talked earlier, you said you had more than one layout.
Uh-huh.
How big are the layouts in general, approximately?
You mean my the main one?
The main one, yeah.
2 times 1 meters.
Okay. So it's a pretty substantial spot. You have a lot of space to kind of work with there.
not
I mean,
really, not really.
All relative. And you have this in a. Are you in an apartment?
Yes, in my home.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you had another layout at your girlfriend's place?
Yes, actually before we start this main layout, we try to do some practice first. And we start on some small display layout first. Just use a plastic box. It's very, very small, just 10 cm times 5 cm, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we try everything. Try the painting, try how to place the ballast, and we try to make hills, make trees and grass. After that, we try some small layouts. For those displays one, the train cannot run. It's just a fake one.
Right.
Yeah. But we
That
start. Sorry.
Oh, I said that makes sense. Doing a practice, layout first to get everything kind of worked out. Smart.
Yeah, but the feel is very good. we feel very exciting when we finish the first one.
So your girlfriend worked with you on it?
Yes.
That's great. That's You don't find that often in the hobby. I don't hear that often. On model rail radio, it's always someone is doing the train, and then there's usually what they call management, which is that person's partner that they have to request space to do the train or time to do the train. So it's nice to hear that there's a couple doing a train. And so
yeah, I'm lucky.
Did you both work on the main layout together as well?
Yes, all the layout things we work together.
That's great.
Yeah. And actually, I'm not very good at art. She is better than me.
Oh, nice. Well, that's one thing that I do hear from time to time is that, that there may not be a partner that is interested in the train part necessarily, but they like the buildings or some of the other aspects of the layout. So I do hear that sometimes, but it's nice that
I think both of us love miniature. We love
so small things
to watch. Yes, it looked really great.
That's great.
So let me answer back your question.
Sure. Yeah, that's great.
We have two small layouts actually. Two of them is the same size, I think around 60 times 35 cm. And we use the mini pre-made track of Cardos and Tomics to build the layout.
Okay.
But only small train or tram can run on it. And we make it inside a plastic box, just for storing clothes. Do you know this box? Such storage box.
Oh, right. Okay. So a small plastic storage box.
Yes. Then we can move it around. It is portable, and we can cover it when we don't play. Then we can prevent the dust.
You also passed along a great tip for me at one point. This cool cover that you did to stop the dust as well.
Yes.
On the other layout, that was great.
I think it's very, very important
To have a cover.
Yes, because it's very difficult for you to clean up the things.
Right, and you're working in N scale, correct?
Yes.
Right. So, yeah, even harder to get in those little areas.
Actually, we play some actual scale, but mainly for N scale.
So
after that two layouts, then we move to the main one.
Okay, so you did two layouts before the main layout.
Yes.
Are you mixing the Kato and Tomix track, or is it one layout has Kato and one layout has Tomix?
One is Kato, one is Tomix.
Okay. Which one do you prefer?
It just depends.
Right.
Because I live in Hong Kong,
Mm-hmm.
so Tomix is not very common in Hong Kong. Actually, most of the Hong Kong guys love Tomix because the quality and the outlook is better than Katos.
Huh.
But,
okay.
Yeah, it's true. It look more real.
Mm-hmm.
If you compare them, the Tomix one is more thin. Then when you place the batik, then it look more real. But
Interesting.
but the Kato is more common here, and the price is cheaper.
Ah, right.
Yeah. So finally, we choose Katos because we can buy it easily, and I have a hobby shop just underneath. Then I can go to buy anything when I need it.
Right. So, you mentioned the other people there doing modeling. Are you part of any groups there in Hong Kong, or do you just do the hobby with your girlfriend, or do you
Only
belong
with
to any other
my
outside?
girlfriend.
Okay.
No, yeah.
So sometimes there's people who they have a small layout at home, and then they want to work larger or be with a larger group of people. There's an outside group that they belong to as well. But I'm in the same boat. I don't do anything but the stuff I do by myself, just because it's so hard to get out of the house for me.
Actually, I did some modular layout as well. You know modular? Yeah. So once I enter this hobby, then I know a group of friends. Then sometimes we'll bring out some modular layout and form a break circle. Then we can play it together. But it's different things.
Right. So I think that's pretty common in Asia, correct? There's groups of people who don't necessarily have room at their apartment or home, but they'll get together with other people and set everything up for the day, play trains for the day and then pack everything away, till the next time.
Yes.
I've seen some pretty amazing photos of giant rooms just filled with track and people just running trains around, and it looks very interesting. So on your main layout, you have a lot of things going on in a relatively small space. How did you plan that out? Did you draw it, or did you use a program to plan out the layout?
Yes, I use a software. Should be called WinTrack 3D.
Oh, WIN. Okay, WinTrack. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I just use it to decide the track only.
Okay.
I just do it by my imagination.
Okay. So did you set the track down first and then just move around as far as what would fit in the various spaces?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. That's one of the things that I was playing around with when I was doing mine was do I do everything at one time, or do I do the track and then fit things in? And I kind of went with the same way that you mentioned, where I did the track first and then kind of had an idea of where I wanted things to go and then fit them in afterwards. Seems to work.
Maybe I share my experience first.
Please.
Actually, we need to decide what the theme should the layout be. So two options for me, one is city, one is countryside. So if we choose the city one, then I will place more track on it, maybe 4 or 5. But once I decide to use the countryside, then only 2 tracks. So just the double track, okay? Then I can't run more train at the same time. Then it's not a very good idea for a city guy because we don't have enough space. Then you pay so many scenic things on the layout. Seems it's not worth. But once I give up the track, then I do more layout things. So after that, then I place the track on it. It is very simple one because just 2 tracks. Then no crossing, no the up and down things. Then it's much easier for me.
Right, that makes sense.
And why I do the track first, because I need to paint the track with the base. I paint it with brown. So if I paste the layout things on it, then I cannot paint it. So I need to do it first.
Okay.
So after that, then I need to remove the painting on the track, then to make the electricity work. So everything is done, then I start the layout thing.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. So I was just looking at your Instagram again, and there are a few things on the main layout that really stand out for me. You have a backdrop with mountains and sky that really helps tie the scene together. That's one of the things that, looking at my layout, that's definitely something that I want to tackle. And then you have just the way that you have your layout kind of laid out and planned out. It really makes sense. It looks like a real place. I don't know how to describe that. It looks like someone actually planned it, and it looks like someplace that could exist. I've seen some layouts that just they look like a toy, and yours looks very, very realistic, I think. Did you have, when you were doing your planning, did you have things purchased already that you were kind of going to lay in, or did you find things, let's say online, that you liked that you wanted to incorporate, and then you purchased them after you had the track? How did that part of it go? Did you own the items already?
I do all the sourcing before I start the layout. I think I spent a month to go around all the shops, even some daily equipment shop, which is not modeling things. Then I try to find anything I can make it to be the layout. For example, the field, then I use the golf artificial grass.
Very smart.
And I try to search all the things, rather they look like layout things, then I start the thing. And of course, I read many books of the Japanese railway. Then I try to find out which picture is impressing me. Then I try to put it into my layout. So, for example, I want the train to pass through the field. So two sides of it is a field. And I love it to cross around the bridge with the rivers. Then I try to build it.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's very impressive, and I'll obviously post your Instagram up so everyone can see it as well, because there's some really nice work in here. The level of detail is fantastic. You got everything set. Did you just keep adding the level of detail and level of detail? And are you still adding details in now?
Still adding. I think it's never done.
Right.
It's a continuous work.
Right. And that's what I like about the hobby, especially when, if you have a smaller size layout, there's so much that you can do with it.
Yes.
Again, adding details and smaller things to it. Like you said, you can always keep adding. It's fantastic.
Actually, I didn't do many details on the building yet, because as you know, if you're working on a big layout, then you have a lot of things to handle. Then if you build every building in details, then it takes a lot of time.
So are you going to go back?
No, I will add it back one by one later.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw your blog that so you do many interior things. Yeah, I do as well, but not every one. Just the eye-catching one.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it takes so many times if the layout is big.
Right. Well, I've recently had an opportunity to visit some layouts here in the Bay Area, and people have them set in basements or in separate kind of areas because space here is much different than it is there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these layouts, they go on for a long, a long way, and I think it goes back to do you like the trains and track, or do you like the structures and detail work? Because I think that if you're a train and track person, having a giant layout with lots of track and lots of train running, it's a more obtainable goal than if you really like the building detail and the smaller details, because if you're trying to do those smaller details on a giant layout, I just don't see it ever getting complete.
I love structure mode.
Right.
I think I love structure mode. Yes. But also I love the train. I would like to add more details to the train as well. So I will do some interior things, the LED lighting, and some coloring on it as well. But for track, seems I don't love it very much.
Right.
Really. It's just a tool for me.
Right. I'm the same way. I'm more of a structure person, structure and details than the actual track, although I have to say that it is fun having the tram run by every once in a while.
Yeah.
So what are your next steps as far as the layout goes? Is it just, are you going to stick with your main layout and just continue detailing it to, just keep going with it? Or do you have plans to do another layout that, down the line, I don't know where it would live, but, basically getting this layout complete and then starting another layout?
I think I won't start any more layouts for now. But I will do many display layouts and some modular layouts.
Okay.
Because I don't have enough space for one more layout.
Right.
And the cost is a problem. So for example, if I want to make a snow layout, winter, then I need to buy a lot of snowflake. But if I just do a modular layout with snowflake, then it costs less. And I also can take photos in winter time and summertime, just using less space. So if you're asking my next step, then I think I will do more on the video.
You do a lot of video. That's another thing I'll put up is your YouTube channel. That was the other part I was going to ask you about.
No, I'm just learning on the video editing. I still have a lot want to put inside.
So basically featuring the work that you're doing in the videos.
Do you watch it?
Oh, yes. I watch them a lot.
Oh, really? Thanks.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe you don't know. I have a lighting system on top of the layout. Do you know it?
Oh, I did not know that.
Okay, so I made it before the layout. So I have 3 different colors for the lighting.
Ah,
So
okay.
So add up for switch off all of them, then it's the light time, then I have 4 periods for the layout. So I have the sunset, I have the daytime, I have the morning time, and the night time. Then I
Very
can
nice.
mix it up. Yeah, I'm trying to make it on the video soon.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. So it's basically four different light settings.
Yes.
Do you know what are they, LED lights, or what kind of lights are they? Do you know?
For the sunset one, I use a LED spotlight.
Okay.
Then it can movable on top of the layout. Then I can have different view of the sunset. Sometimes it's on the left, sometimes on the right. So I just plot it on where I want. So
Nice.
even if I'm taking videos, I can move the light instantly. Then it will have a sun rays or whatever I want.
Huh. Very nice.
It's interesting, I think.
Yeah, and that's something else that I'm looking at addressing. I go through layouts like yours, and I've been taking a lot of on things I want to add into mine. One of which we've talked about, which is your field area. I really want to get us like at least a little bit of that into my layout. But the other thing that I was thinking about is the lighting and how to address that. So
for the rest, I just use fluorescent lamp. Just use white,
okay.
yellow, then blue. Then 3 different colors to combine. Then you can have different combination. I think it's very, very important for lighting.
Right.
It's true. Trust me.
Yeah. So is it
actually my layout is not that great, but with the lighting, then you will look great.
Well, I mean that's
true.
That's the case with anything, with movies or photos. You have to have the proper lighting.
Yes.
And so is it?
You can see all my photos have the same lighting, so the colors is the same. Then you don't have to turn up your ISO, then the photos will look great.
Huh. Okay. Now,
and the spotlight is also very good. It can generate a shadow. So if you have a reverse, then it will shining just like the gold. Then it's really, really fantastic.
Huh. Now, is the light suspended from the ceiling, or is it down low right over the layout? What's the between the lighting and the layout?
Actually, before I enter this hobby, I'm a wave keeper. Do you know wave keeper?
No.
The coral. I'm have
a reef keeper.
Yes,
right.
Reef.
Okay.
So I think I have 10 years for paying this to keeping corals. So lighting is very important for them. So I have the lighting system on top of the tank. So once I remove the tank, then I can use the same lighting.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why I have a space for the layout. It's because I removed the fish tank.
Oh, so the area that the layout is currently in was like a big tank full of this reef
aquarium
material that had, like an aquarium, and so you just removed the tank, but you got the lighting. Very interesting.
But of course I changed some of the light because the train don't need so many lighting. Just different color is fine.
Huh. Yeah, that makes sense to use different color lighting as well.
I have a aluminum shelf on top of the layout, then it mount onto the ceiling.
Okay.
I can take you some photos later.
Yeah, that'd be great. Interesting. Okay. Huh. We'll learn something new every day.
Yeah, same for me.
So I was just, again, I'm looking at your YouTube channel now, and I'm seeing some snow layout items. Is that, I can't read this, obviously, but is that part of a modular layout that you have going with snow? Or is that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. The slow one is made of me.
This seems like a pretty substantial layout, size-wise. Is that something that gets brought out and worked on and put away, or is that out all the time as well?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does the snow layout stay out all the time, or do you bring that out to take photos and run trains and then put it back afterwards?
Yes, second one.
Okay. There's various elements on it, like the bridge and the water. Is this a small loop, or is it just a back and forth? What's the layout style on that? Does the train just loop around, or?
Because I have a group of friends, then we build up our own modular layout. So all the modular is just the straight track. Then
I see.
Once we date the time, then we have a gathering, then we bring out our board, then we put all together and just add the curved track on two sides, then it will form a circle.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing that now in the video. There's a connection spot. Yes, that's great. Okay.
Yeah. So the train will pass through many different seasons in a straight line.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to do it. And that way, did you plan out who was doing what kind of season, or does everyone just work on what they would like to work
Yes,
on?
we have planning.
Okay.
Because my main one is summertime, then I try winter time.
I know there's somebody who wants to do, I think, 4 different countries. I don't know if he's planning on having them all be part of one layout, but I think his idea is, Japan, the U.S., a UK layout, and one other layout. And it seemed like a lot of work to me, but I don't know how he's planning to have them all join up. But doing this kind of modular setup with a group of people kind of makes sense, because you get to experiment with things that you might not get to experiment with on your main layout, which is great.
Yeah, I think.
And again, and what you mentioned about the cost as well, it allows for doing something on a smaller scale, but still having some fun with it.
Yes, it just costs, I think, $20.
Oh wow!
Each modular. Yeah.
That's great.
Including the track already.
Oh wow! Okay. Yeah, that's one thing I'm actually quite jealous of, is you being able to go to a hobby shop and just purchase things right there at the hobby shop. I'm not so lucky. I have to get all of my stuff online.
Yeah, I also find many things online.
That's great. So I'm still kind of blown away. You have spent a year on your main layout, or has it been less time on the main layout?
I just work on it during the weekend time, just Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I think 10 months for working it.
Wow. That's very
including
impressive.
all the electric things, the control, the LED, all the things.
That's great.
But 2 people, 2 manpower.
Right.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, I guess that helps. And so you have a knowledge of wiring and all that as well.
No. I
Oh.
just learned it.
Oh, okay.
Keep asking people and watch it online.
Mm-hmm.
It's my
That's another
first time to know how to wire LED. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of things that people might want to know, just as far as the wiring side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're running the wires obviously underneath. Are your buildings lit as well? On your layout, do you have lights running to all your buildings as well right now?
Yes.
Or are you planning to? Okay.
Yes.
And so when you're planning the overall layout, that was one of the things that you had to plan out as well, correct? Is just the wiring and the lighting.
Yes, so I practiced it in the previous one.
Okay.
The small
smaller layout.
Yeah, I try everything on the small one.
Gotcha.
Then I can know the correct step. Actually, many mistakes when you try it, but once you know it, then you can make it better.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you liked trains as a kid. Is that correct? When you were a child?
Yeah.
Did you have a layout as a child, or did you just like them?
No layout. I have a plastic train which run by battery, but you cannot control the speed and no lighting.
Right.
Yeah, just one train.
You're kind of wanting to get into the hobby. Was that something that you had for a long time and you just didn't know how to kind of get it going, or is it a more recent like?
Before I entered this hobby, I did some research. So, but I don't know the scaling things. I don't know what is N gauge, what is HO gauge. So I even don't know how big is the train, and I don't know the layout thing is. So I don't know. It's so easy to make a layout. Yes, it's easy. Just buy some scenic things and you can make it.
Right.
It looks very real. And after that, then I just walk around the hobby shop and we find the price is acceptable. So we started.
And how many engines do you have? I was trying to count them up here on the Instagram. It seems like you have a decent amount of engines.
You want to know it?
Yeah, if you're willing to say.
You only want to know the engines or all the trains?
All the trains, or just approximately. It seems like there's probably at least 20 or so.
No. More.
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 Well, I think that's the benefit of having a smaller layout that you could exchange trains on. Is you're not putting the money into the layout itself. You can put that money into the trains, right?
Yes.
So.
Okay, I tell you the number. Actually, I know it. I have an Excel file.
Oh.
Yeah, 90 something.
Wow, that's impressive. And do you have them in like a box storage system? I've seen those where it's just like a foam box that the train can lay in.
I have a bookshelf for it.
Oh, okay.
Because most of them is just the Japanese train, Then they have plastic files, and you can put it very tidy into a bookshelf.
Right. I see now there's a photo here of one of the shelves. It looks very tidy. It looks very neat. I like that way of storing it, and then you can see the number and the train name and everything right on the side of the spine.
Yeah.
Nice. So is that something that is part of the hobby for you? Do you see a train and you're like, oh, I got to get that one? You know, is it kind of like is that one of your focuses as far as the hobby goes? Are you kind of a train collector, or were there certain ones that you just wanted to own, and you have them?
Because I read a lot of Japanese books, some monthly magazines, and I know many different kinds of trains. And sometimes I find, wow, this one is colorful and this one is so beautiful. Then I will try to search whether it has a model or not. Then I will try to buy it. And actually, most of them is secondhand.
Okay, so used trains from other people. Okay, and do you
from the Japanese market?
Okay. Do you there's some manufacturers that have pretty much like blank trains that you paint yourself. Have you ever done anything like that?
Sorry, I don't understand it.
Okay. There's certain trains like the Kato trains that come pre-painted. They're already painted and ready to.
Oh,
run.
I see.
Yeah. Have you ever
never
built
tried
any of the? Never tried it.
No.
Okay.
No. Because my painting is not good.
So you're more of a detail person, not so focused on the painting aspect.
Yes, but I made some decal for the train.
Okay.
You know it?
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it has some special decal on the train. Then I try to make it in the computers and find someone to print it out. Then I will stick on the train.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because I'm an IT guy, so I know Illustrator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I can make anything in a computer.
I gotcha. So, yeah, adding detail to trains through decals and whatnot. Interesting. Okay.
Just want to make it special.
Right. Well, that's part of it is, taking something and changing it to make it more of a personal thing. That's another big part of the hobby, I think.
Yeah.
As far as what we tend to call kit bashing, which is basically taking, two different things and making something new out of it. Have you given any thought to doing that with any of the buildings on your layout, or are you happy with, the building as it is and just adding details to that building?
In the main layout, I just adding details.
Okay.
But I'm trying to make it by myself now.
Oh, okay. Make the building yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Are you using like a styrene, like a plastic sheet to do that?
Yes.
What material?
I have electric porter. It can cut out the plastic into a special shape.
Oh, okay.
So I think I can draw out the buildings and it will do all the things for me.
Oh, interesting.
But
So
I'm still trying.
Okay. So is it like a plastic cutter that is connected to the computer?
Yes, it's just like a printer, but it's used for cutting paper. But it can cut off the the thin plastic one. So I make use of it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's kind of
This
cool.
is a very powerful tool for those paper models. So you can cut out the paper models within a minute.
Huh. Have you given thought to doing like a card stock building instead of plastic, or do you prefer the plastic?
I prefer the plastic because the paper one won't last very long because of the wet weather.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
But actually, I have some small things made up of paper inside the layout. Just small things, but not the building.
Right. Yeah, I've been playing around with those small, the Senke kits. I think it's Senke. For smaller details, but I haven't done any of the buildings. I don't have that kind of patience.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. And that is one of the conversations that I know on Model Rail Radio they have from time to time is plastic kits over paper kits, and it really I think does depend on the weather where you are. If you're in a drier climate, it makes more sense, I think. So yeah, that is something that you'd have to take into consideration. How many modules do you have? How many the smaller modules do you have? I know there's the snow one that we talked about.
Oh, just two. Two of them is just snow. Both are snow.
Oh, both are snow. Okay.
Yes.
And
actually, one of them is a floating ice.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw that. The floating ice over the bridge over the top. That's a nice one.
Yes. Yes. And the other just. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What did you use to do the ice?
What do you think?
What?
Can you guess it?
It looks like a styrofoam, maybe, like a cut.
Yes,
foam?
It is. But I need to add some snowflake. Yeah.
That's a very clever use of that. Because it's that little detail. Did you kind of scrape the foam as well, or is that just the snowflake I see on top?
Just use the snowflake.
That's great. So it's like a foam sheet that you cut into ice bricks, and that's floating on the water. That's very nice.
But you need to find more real photos to make it look natural.
Right. A lot of your work seems like you have a lot of research behind it. Do you spend a lot of time researching before you do your work? Like photo research?
Yes, I think it's really important.
Mm-hmm. And do you said that you had a Excel sheet with your trains listed in them. Do you use that for organizing everything? So do you have folders full of reference photos, let's say, or any of that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, the Excel sheet is for me to know the model numbers of each of them. Then I can buy some parts easily by that files.
I see.
You understand me? And I need to know how many cars of that train, and did I add the interior lights or not? Then I will mark it down. Then I will know how many trains got the lightings and how many not.
I see. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a matter of knowing what you have, and if you're buying, making a purchase or whatever, you know exactly how many things to get.
Yeah. Because sometimes I just got the basic set and I need to buy the add-on and I don't know the model numbers, then I need that file.
Right.
Yes.
As far as your detailing, are you focused on detailing the trains or the layout itself, or do you kind of go back and forth based on what you're interested in doing at that time?
Actually, I work more on the train details.
Okay.
The most attractive part of the modern trains is the interior light. I love it so much. Once you add it, then I think it's not a toy.
Right, right.
Then it makes more beautiful, and it's just like an electronic thing. Then it is a adult toy, not a child.
Right. And you're adding people as well, right?
Yes. And also I print out the wall, some detailed things, the interior design into some of the train, especially the sleeping car. So I add some door, some bed onto it, just based on the real one.
It makes a huge difference. I know, when I was doing a little shelf layout, I had a tram that I purchased, and I was weathering the outside and kind of going through, and I kept looking at it, and I was like, there's just something not 100% about this yet. And it was really, it was just the people inside. It's like it's this empty car.
Yeah.
And just adding the people is one thing, and lighting for me has always been kind of something I want to do. So I'll be doing that as well. But it really does add a whole lot. Lighting and the figures inside of both the trains themselves and the buildings make them look lived in. So
I always have a goal in my mind, is I need to light up everything, all the buildings, all the trains. I want to light up them with LED.
Okay, so that's like your major focus is lighting.
Yes. So I did a lot of study on the LED things, especially those SMD. It's very, very small. Yes, it's very hard for me to wire them.
And so you've just been doing, research to just kind of figure out how to do it.
Yes.
You haven't taken.
And lots of failure.
Well, that's what it's about. You learn from your mistakes.
Yes. But you need to pay for it.
Right.
Your time, your money.
Right. Yeah, I've heard stories about people just, blowing out whole kits, and it's like, okay, well, I have to do that again and try not to do it next time. Yeah, the lighting really makes a huge difference, and the shots, like seeing how talking to you now and hearing about the different lighting effects that you have, the different times of day, and the way that you can control your lighting. That's very apparent. Again, people will be able to see it when they look at your setup, because when you turn those lights down and those trains go by with the lights inside them, it really is a really nice look.
Try it, then you will feel very impressive. It just costs a little. Adding lighting on your layout, but it's really great.
Yeah, I noticed that on my my little shelf. I'm just using a battery light kit. I can't remember who makes it. It's another manufacturer in Asia that makes it, and it just has a small battery pack with some LED lights that lead off of it with wires, and I took that and lit the buildings on my layout. And I also use one of them to light with a filament a filament wire, so the filament wire connects to the LED, and you can run that through and get smaller points of light. And it was a huge difference. Lighting is really a major thing for me, and I really have to overcome my fear and get into learning it, because again, it really does make the scene. You're right. Without the lights, it's not as alive looking. And so, I have to get in there and learn about lighting myself.
I think the lighting will get you into the next level, because most of the hobbyists just buy all the things and just put it all together.
Right.
So, but if you're adding lightings, then you have some custom work. Then it's an extra value.
Yeah, especially if anything, I need to get the overall layout lighting set up, because that and a good background really help when you're taking photos. I was using outside light when I had my smaller kind of, it's almost like a large shelf layout. I would just take that outside and shoot it in the natural light, and it really made a huge difference.
Yeah,
I don't have to
light. Great.
Yeah, it's great. But you can't take your whole layout outside to shoot it.
Yes, that's true.
So, yeah. So I think I like your idea about the different color lights as well. That makes sense. Just as far as light theory goes, you do have different color lights based on the position of the sun and the weather conditions and everything else. So it's a good detail.
The only weather I cannot simulate is raining.
Well, we actually have in the model rail radio group, there was someone who did a small layout, and we call him the professor. He lives in Australia, and his layout, I think, is Brooklyn 3 a.m., I think they call it, and it has a very wet look, like a rain just went through, and it's a very nice thing. But again, it goes back to what you were saying. If you have a smaller layout section, it allows you to do things like snow and rain. Whereas if you had a larger layout, it's a little harder to do.
Yeah.
But he was able to get a nice wet street look, and everything looks wet and shiny, like right after a rain. It's a very nice looking set.
I think I will try.
Yeah, you're going to do a modular after rain look.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very nice look. I don't. I'll send you a link. To get that, again, it's playing around with getting that look and having it look realistic based on reference photos. The snow layout that you did, the snow module, is one of the things I like about it. Is it's not just a module with a bunch of white stuff dumped on it. It looks like you actually spent time, getting the snow looking like it actually fell, and there's a light drift that kind of covered things. It wasn't just you had a modular layout and you just dumped white flakes on top. Taking the time to put the details on and set them up properly based on reference photos is something that separates, a kind of a pro hobbyist from just someone who likes toy trains, I think. It's hard when, you don't have a whole lot of time. I find myself kind of rushing through to get things completed, but then after talking to my wife, she's like, well, what are you going to do if you complete it? So you might as well take your time and work on it and really focus on, details and things like that, because it's your hobby. That's what you enjoy doing, and there's no need to. You're not finishing it for anything. So, like you said, going back in and adding details is, you can go on forever doing that. And that's part of the fun for me. Well, thank you for your time today. This has been great, and I'll see about editing this and seeing if we can get it out for people to listen to, because I think you have.
Thank you.
It's nice hearing. We're always talking about the United States and modeling in the United States, but it's interesting to hear a different perspective. So thank you for your time on that. And
you're welcome.
And I'm looking forward to more updates in the future.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
恋は後で後で後で後でするものよあなただけに捧げる真心